Hi, in this session we'll be looking at a few straightforward principles to help get the most out of your academic posters. We'll cover some good practice for visual communication, as well as some ideas for how you might structure a poster to make it more accessible to your audience. This session has been developed by the Digital Learning team based in Kelt. If you need any follow-up support with creating academic posters, please contact us at digitallearning@bishopg.ac.uk or give us a call on 01522 563 866. You can also book a one-to-one appointment with a member of the Digital Learning team at appointments.bishopg.ac.uk. Now, probably the single biggest obstacle when developing an academic poster is the available space, or indeed the lack of available space. Unlike a slide-based presentation where you can simply add more slides, you have a finite amount of room, and the likelihood is you'll find it difficult to fit everything in. Deciding what to include in your poster can be tricky. You might find it useful to ask yourself 3 questions before you include anything. Number 1, does it clarify? Does this content make my message easier to understand? It might be bullet points breaking up a chunk of information, or a diagram or chart that visually represents more clearly what you're saying. Does it enhance? Will this element add to my message? If I add this picture, will it bring something to the party, or am I only considering including it for the sake of visual interest? Number 3, does it reinforce? Will this item back up my message? I might choose to include a graph or chart, adding a visual interpretation to go alongside my main message. If I can't answer yes to at least one of these questions, there's probably little cause to consider including something on my poster. Some simple design principles can be remembered using the acronym CRAP or CRAP. It stands for, number 1, contrast. Now, contrast can be used to introduce differentiation between elements of your poster. Obvious examples of contrast can be achieved by tonal differences, or dark versus light, but also colour, size and font weight can all be used to achieve contrast. Number 2, repetition or consistency. Use the same formatting for each section of your poster to make it intuitive to follow. Consistency in text size, boldness, colour and layout will help give your poster a visual dialect. Readers will intuitively pick up on this and learn quickly how they should expect your poster to communicate with them. Number 3, alignment. Align elements of your poster according to a pattern. Consider things like indents, margins and image placement. Make purposeful decisions. Alignment can help introduce a hierarchy to the information on your poster, helping your audience navigate from the most important pieces of information through to the least. Number 4, proximity. Where separate items within your poster relate to each other, be careful to ensure that they appear close to one another on your poster. This may seem like common sense, but it's easy to lose sight of, especially if you're struggling for space. If a graph is used to examine the information in a particular paragraph on your poster, then it should ideally appear close by. Sticking to these 4 principles should help you produce a poster that's easily visually navigable. If your audience can find their way around your poster, it leaves them with more free cognitive capacity to digest the content. Colour is very important when producing a poster for a number of different reasons. Use consistent colour throughout. Using a consistent colour palette will help make your poster clear and coherent. Too many colours can be confusing and distracting to your audience. Once you find a colour combination that works and makes sense, stick to it. If you're producing a poster that will contain several different sections, you might want to consider colour coding them to help your audience find their way around. Make sure that text is readable. This is probably the single biggest consideration when producing a poster. Choose contrasting colours to ensure text stands out from its background. For text-heavy sections of your poster, i.e. your paragraphs, try to avoid reversed out text or light text on a dark background, i.e. white on black. Think about accessibility. Accessibility considerations should be key to your poster design choices. Thinking about contrasting and complementary colours is a good starting point here, but there is more. There are some really useful web resources available to help. Set a hierarchy for your text. A good visual hierarchy should make it clear to your audience which information is most important and what order it should be read in. Set up a sensible pattern and stick to it throughout. Use size and weight to emphasize. Use a larger font for headings and maybe consider a heavier weight too, like bold. Use a smaller font for bullet points and paragraph text. Avoid using bold or italics as a standard style in bullets or body text. Save them for emphasis. Steer clear of using all capitals. It can come across a little bit shouty. Use indents to add order and further enhance the hierarchy of your text. Make sure you choose a suitable font and size. Choose a sans serif font and make sure that your text is big enough. Think about the fact that people will typically be reading your poster from a few feet away. When using graphics, it's important to make sure that whatever you use is relevant. Any image or graphics, including tables and graphs, should relate directly to the idea you're trying to convey. Go back to the question of does it clarify, does it enhance, or does it reinforce? Graphs, charts, infographics, etc. can be a useful way to use space more effectively and break up heavy text content. Don't just use a picture to introduce a bit of colour or a bit of visual interest. Make sure it's big enough. If your graphic contains text or information, maybe it's a chart or a graph, ensure that you use it at a size that's suitable. Don't squeeze a large graphic into a corner of your poster where people may struggle to see it. If you need to use a graphic or image at a larger size, you might need to be prepared to make sacrifices elsewhere. Alternatively, if your image is too small but you don't have space to make it bigger, consider whether or not you need to use it at all. Make sure it doesn't distract. Try and use imagery sympathetically. It's important to note that an image can be relevant but at the same time distracting. Consider what's more important, the image or the accompanying text. If it's not bringing anything to the party, then ditch it. Make images appear uniformly. Having your images appear consistently will help create a sense of uniformity and comfort for your audience. Having images appear in seemingly random places will be confusing. If people know what to expect, they will find it easier to navigate your presentation. Although Microsoft PowerPoint might not sound like an obvious choice when designing a poster, there are several reasons why we recommend it. It's available to everybody at BGU. All BG students and staff have access to PowerPoint via the institution's Office 365 license. You can all download and install the full desktop version of PowerPoint to your PC or Mac. The web version of PowerPoint is available via your browser too. You can access it anywhere. Use PowerPoint in conjunction with OneDrive to access your files wherever you are. As mentioned previously, all Microsoft Office apps are available online, so you can work on your PowerPoint files from any computer, even if it doesn't have Office installed. It's easy to use and many people have experience of using it. PowerPoint is fairly intuitive to use, and many people will have used it before previously, probably to produce presentation slides. It's easy to export a PDF file from PowerPoint, meaning your work can be easily submitted to Turnitin. PowerPoint is useful beyond simply producing presentation slides. There's lots of functionality within PowerPoint that goes far beyond producing slides. It's a fairly good page layout tool with quick and easy text editing and graphic design options. And although it's not its primary function, for this kind of work we prefer it over other consumer level desktop publishing packages.